The Chicago Bears are meeting with Jalen Carter and were very active speaking with him at his pro day. Should the Chicago Bears still be in on Jalen Carter, and will he even get to Chicago? We'll talk about all that and more on today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Let's go. If you are new to the channel, please like the video. Please subscribe to the page, man. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel talking Bears. Our Bears fans talk, man. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man. So Jalen Carter is reportedly meeting with the Chicago, or reportedly has met with the Chicago Bears general manager Ryan Pace, and spent some time talking with him today after the Bears were very active looking at him during his pro day. He also is supposed to be visiting with the Chicago Bears further. I believe that's happening today as well, as reported by Adam Schefter. And interesting, right? Because of everything around Jalen Carter. I know a lot of people are still on the fence about should the Chicago Bears take Jalen Carter. We'll talk about it more at length definitely tomorrow on the Daily Show. By the way, the Daily Show is back, so get in tune with us on that every day, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Tune in with us on that. But here's the thing. Jalen Carter, to me, is still a top-level talent. The question around him was maturity issues. This is why I love the fact that Ryan Poles is even sitting here having these meetings with him. That's really what it's going to come down to, right? Because if you're taking Jalen Carter this high, you expect him at some point to be a leader on your football team, and you need to assess whether he can be that leader on the Bears or not, right? Like, he needs to be a focal point of your defense. He needs to be a guy that is the face of your defense, and if he can't bring that to the field, right, then you have some issues in place. You have to figure out kind of where you are with him on your team if you draft him, right? He can't just be a guy that exists who's got talent. So I think that that's a reason why you're seeing Ryan Poles really meet with him. Should the Chicago Bears draft him? I mean, listen, if you feel like the talent is weighed out, I know there was a lot of issues that people had after that pro day where he literally was out there looking gassed, right? He was cramping up. I believe from what I heard, though, he was the only defensive tackle that was going that day. I believe that he was the only defensive lineman that was going that day as well. So he had to do drill after drill after drill after drill, no break in the middle, like many of these pro days do, right? If you have 3 or 4 quarterbacks you're going there to look at, I don't know why you'd be looking at 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the same way. That was a poor choice. If you have 3 or 4 wide receivers right from the same school that you're going there to look at, you'll go in there and say, hey, listen, okay, you run this route. All right, now next, you run this route. Okay, next, you run this route, right? Gives guys a time to get their energy back. Jalen Carter didn't have that opportunity. And so he had to go out there and just rep after rep after rep after rep. Now, is that on him? Is that to say that he should have come in better physical condition? 100%. Definitely should have. Should have been in better shape. Came in 9 pounds overweight. That's still an issue there. But I kind of can understand it. A lot of things going on with him. I will say this, 9 pounds, not hard to lose. I always love when they do this. Like, he was 9 pounds overweight. He was so heavy. And it's like he plays a sport where he literally does nothing but lift weights and run all day. I think he's going to be okay. You know what I mean? Like, that's really how I feel about it at the end. Like, I think Jalen Carter is going to be okay at the end of the day. And so to me, right, like I look at him, I'm not worried about the weight. I'm not worried about the cramping. I think that's something that will be addressed. I think the biggest thing that I'm worried about when I'm asking should the Chicago Bears take him is how mature do you think he'll be? Do you think that he can come in here and be a leader of your team? Because if I'm taking a guy in the top 10 of the NFL draft and I feel like he's that level of talent, he is a top 10 level talent, but is he that level of leader? A lot of mistakes leading in here. Doesn't mean that it defines you, doesn't mean that it is who you are for the rest of your career, but there are a lot of mistakes to point to when you're looking at how he's been leading up to this draft. I do want to know how you guys feel. feel, man, before anything, bro. My do-rag is so tight right now. It is killing me. I got to loosen this mug up after this video. I want to know how you guys feel, man. Let me know in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you as well. Do you think the Chicago Bears should still be in on Jalen Carter? Do you think that maybe he's somebody the Bears should shy away from? Let me know in the comments below. And really, do you think he'll even be there? That's the other side of this video, dog. Like, do you think that Jalen Carter will even be on the board? And I think that that's more of a realistic conversation here. I know that we got the report that a lot of teams have taken Jalen Carter off of their board. There are multiple reasons for that. One, most people probably don't expect him to be there when they're looking to draft. And two, many of the teams at the top are quarterback needy teams. So now you've got a bunch of teams that need a quarterback. They're sitting at the top of the draft. If the Bears kept their number one pick, it would make more sense for Jalen Carter to remain on a lot of people's boards, because you don't know what the Bears are going to be basically going out there looking to do at the end of this. But instead, right, we end up with Jalen Carter here with a team at the top that's looking for a quarterback. You're probably not going to see somebody who's willing to take the risk on for him until, I would say, maybe Arizona, but even then, right? Like, are we 100% sure they don't want a quarterback? Like, that's kind of where I'm at on that. Like, am I 100% sure that Arizona's not in on the quarterback position either? I don't know if they are or not. Maybe they're in on wide receiver. I know that they do want that defender that's going to be able to come up the middle, but I think they got a lot more problems on their plate than just a three technique in the middle. And then I start to look around, right? And to me, the next two teams you're talking about are Detroit and Oakland. I don't think he makes it past Detroit, right? I think this is all going to be a moot point at the end of the day. I love that the Bears are meeting with him. He's only meeting, by the way, with teams inside of the top 10, which means he probably still believes that only teams inside the top 10 are going to be in a position to draft him. Probably gives him the feeling that he's going to be still a top pick, even with everything going on. Probably also the fact that a lot of these teams are talking to him again, and a lot of these teams are having conversations around him, does mean that they've probably found some clarity on him as far as answers on what's going on with the whole legal situation around him or not. I think that the main thing at the end of the day is you have to understand everything that's going to go into in with that, right? Like, is he going to be healthy? Is he going to be not healthy? Is he going to be available, I should say, to play? My bad. I'm sitting here trying to make sure I'm not missing no updating news as I'm recording this video right here. Is he going to be available to play basically during the season, or is he going to have to serve some kind of probation, some kind of possible jail time? We don't know. We still don't know anything on the situation involving the car crash, right? So what we do know right now is that, to me, he's a top 10 talent. I don't think he'll be there. Based on what I know, I don't think he'll be there. I don't think he gets past the Lions or the Raiders if the Lions were to pass on him. I think that him and Kalijah Kancey will probably end up going right around each other. Kalijah Kancey is a guy that I'm hoping does fall to the Bears, because I don't think Jalen Carter will be there. So I'm hoping that we can use him as a backup. But at the end of the day, right, I do think Jalen Carter will be off the board. I don't see the Bears having a shot at drafting him, but maybe I'm wrong, right? Maybe literally everybody else is like, we don't believe in this guy. We don't want this guy. We don't think he's going to be around. We don't want the headache that comes with it. And then the question is, do the Bears want the headache? That's a big question. That's a big question to ask right now, man. You've got to ask yourself, basically, is he going to, like I talked about him being a leader, but also, do you have the leaders in that locker room already that maybe he's on his way to being a leader and he's just not there yet? Do you have those guys in that locker room already that can guide him in the right direction? I don't know if you do. You got a bunch of second year, third year, first year players on your team, right? Like, and the second year players coming in had a terrible rookie season, or a terrible actual season, right? Like, the Bears end up with 3 wins is what I mean. Not to say that those players were terrible, but had a terrible season in the sense of, you didn't win a lot of games. You didn't come in understanding a lot of what the leadership needed to win games is. So is Jalen Carter going to bring that? Do you have guys on your team that already have that? The guys you had on your team that did have that, right? David Montgomery, Roquan Smith, they're not here anymore. Are we ready for Jalen Johnson to be that guy? Are we ready for, right? Like, there's guys that can be brought up here, but are those guys in the building, and are they ready? Is Eddie Jackson the leader of the Chicago Bears right now? Those are the questions that I think you really have to take into account when you look at bringing in a guy like Jalen Carter. I think at the end of the day, man, listen, I love what this Bulls. I'm struggling right now, man. I love what this Bears team, the position this Bears team is in, because I think there's a lot of good talent at the top of the draft they can go after. roster. I love the fact that Jalen Carter is meeting with them and that Ryan Poles is doing his due diligence. No matter what you feel about him, no matter what you say about him, at the end of the day, I've told y'all this on multiple shows, talent trumps all. So unfortunately, that's what it's going to come down to at the end of the day. He is talented enough. Let's hope that he's there on the board and he's enough of a leader. As always, man, I do want to know how you guys feel. Let me know in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you as well. It's your boy Pat the Designer, back at it again to continue watching our Chicago Bears content. Click the links on the screen and check the links in the description below. Hey, yo, Chicago, y'all stay safe out there, man. Peace.